The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
All time for a fact that makes your brain just go. The government is hoarding 1.5 billion pounds of this for the apocalypse. Maybe you didn't know about it. We have you taking guesses on it, but also checking in with what you're hoarding. So let's go through a few of those first here before we get to that in about 30 seconds. I collect bar coasters. 708 checked in. Bar coasters.
I love that. I love a good coaster.
Donnie checked in from Crestwood. They are cool, but then eventually you have to have enough tables to put them on. I guess you just stock them up like I do in like a tote.
I would imagine they're seasonal, that, every few months he swaps out the coasters he has for a different one.
People know that Donnie's house then. That's it. Oh, Donnie's got all these coasters. Let's see here. Allie checked in. I was talking about laminates. Just to make it clear, I didn't want to sound like hoity-toity, but a laminate is an all-access pass. That's what I have a bunch of. That I have literally a whole tote of, and I want to put them maybe in a picture frame someday, but I'll get around to that one.
I'm sure.
It'll take a while. But everything we've done at Q101 over my 2 decades here, it's all this stuff. I just saved it. And they don't make those anymore. Now they just give you those stupid paper wristbands when you go backstage.
What a first world problem.
Yeah, it's cheaped out. Someone thinks the government's hoarding seeds. That's not correct, but they do that.
Well, that's interesting because I understand the thought process for that. You would want to be able to regrow anything that dies.
After a nuclear war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just after global warming, too.
Yeah, I don't know if you have to get new seeds then for that. I don't know.
I don't know how seeds hold up.
I don't either.
That's the problem. I don't know if they get moldy or anything.
Sierra collects guitar picks. That's a good thing to get from shows. A lot of times, if you're nice enough, you get by the barricade there, they'll give them to you.
Or the set list. People are really into set lists now. That's what they want, is the printed out set list.
Yeah.
Isn't that my thing?
You know what's funny is you go into a local bar and a guy's got an iPad up there on a screen, attached. The guy will go to Guitar Center and get all the stuff. Looks like a really one-man band type of deal, and the bands still have just a stupid paper thing on the floor.
Yeah, they tape it to the floor.
Yeah,
that's if you're ever at a show and you're wondering why, 5 minutes before a band comes out, guys come out in black hats, like stage crew, and they tape something to the ground. They're taping the set list to the ground so the band knows what songs to play.
Yeah. Why don't they have an iPad like the guys at the local bars have?
I'm all for it. I'm all for it because people want the set list. Bands realize that now.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that the government is hoarding 1.5 billion pounds of, and they've been doing this since the 1970s, getting ready for the apocalypse. Cheese.
Cheese?
1.5 billion pounds of cheese are stuffed in caves in Missouri.
Does it say what kind?
All different kinds.
Really?
All different kinds. And I got to say, I've never been more turned on in my life.
Wow. Cheese is an aphrodisiac. Who knew?
Are you kidding me? They're called cheese caves. Think about that for a second. 1.5 billion pounds of cheese aging at 36 degrees Fahrenheit. These massive stockpiles of government-owned cheese because they started this in the 70s when there was apparently a national dairy shortage in the 70s.
That sounds like a nightmare. I know about the gas shortage of the 70s. I don't know about the dairy shortage.
I don't know if the cows just say, did they strike?
Yeah. Was this Ford's fault? Who was president in the 70s?
Well, you had what? You had Nixon, Ford, and Carter.
Oh, well, it could have been Carter because
he was a farmer,
he was
though.
A farmer. So this has Gerald Ford written all over it.
Yeah, it couldn't have been Carter. He was pro cow.
He was pro, and he loved them.
He probably had cows on his thing. I'll bring some up here to get the milk out. Yeah, he rode them to school. So the government has these. Basically, they were old limestone mines in Missouri. First off, a cheese cave sounds like someplace I want to lay down in. A cheese cave. Imagine this. You go get some of those El Milagro chips over wherever you buy groceries.
Okay.
And
is that like a tortilla chip?
Yeah, El Milagro I have a hard time saying it. El Milagro. El Milagro.
Okay.
El Milagro.
I feel bad for our Spanish listeners right now.
If a Spanish listener can call up and say it better than I can,
I'm sure they can.
I think I'm doing a good job. El Milagro.
But it's a tortilla chip.
El Milagro. The chips it's in Pilsen. So it's one of the most famous places as far as their food, but they also have the chips. You can find them in Mariano's or Jewel or wherever.
Okay.
And they're so crunchy. They're the best chips. You go in that cave with a flamethrower and 17 bags of those chips, you're not seeing me for a week. I'm going to melt that cheese, and I'm going to make the best nachos. I'll take, of course, maybe some Herdy's salsa, the green salsa in there, the hot stuff, too.
Of course. Steve checked in. He said, I try to tell people all the time about the U.S. Chiefs caves, and no one believes me.
Well, Steve, you are vindicated today.
God, you must sound like a psycho, though, if nobody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, how do you get in that conversation, too? How do you work that in? Yeah, I know the Bears are going to draft Caleb Williams, but have you heard about the cheese? 1.5 billion. Aaron checked it. I bet the rats are huge.
Well, okay, so I know you're turned on by the cheese cave, correct?
Yeah. Oh. I may have to go home and change my pants.
Well, settle down for just a second.
Okay.
Because you not only have rats, but my concern would be any sort of large amount of cheese, and I say this as somebody that frequents a farmer's market in town, the Logan Square Farmer's Market. Wouldn't you worry about it being stinky?
Well,
cheese is pretty stinky.
It's a limestone cave, which I assume makes some kind of barrier on it all, the rock caves, and I think they're probably sealed up pretty good.
I don't know. Limestone's not Febreze. I bet the smell seeps through.
I don't know. I think I'm trusting our government with this thing. I know they screw up everything else.
Really? You're going to trust our government with the cheese caves?
Yes.
That and only that.
They screw up everything else. But I think when it comes to cheese, there's one thick boy in Congress that said, like, I'm going to make sure this cheese is good.
It's probably a descendant of Taft.
Oh, hell yeah. That's right.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 and El Milagro. The chips are so good. We're talking about the government cheese. So the fact today was 1.5 billion pounds of cheese are in caves in Missouri. They're called cheese caves. Oh, good Lord. That sounds better than at least 40% of the dates I had in my life going to a cheese cave.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
You think about all the bad meals you had with people you didn't like?
Oh, a cheese cave. And I said I'd like to go in there with a flamethrower and about 17 bags of El Milagro chips.
Uh-huh.
And why don't I have a hard time saying that? El Milagro.
I don't know, maybe because you're a whitey?
I'm not all white. I'm Lebanese. Anyway, so let's see here. Yeah, 630 checked in. I'm ghost white, and I can say El Milagro better than Brian. Let me see. By the way,
I don't even know what you're trying to say sometimes.
El Milagro.
That sounds like an amalgamation of consonants.
Well, I found, let's see here. It's a review of Taqueria El Milagro from Chicago's Best. I don't know this guy who's doing this report, but let's see how he says it.
This taco is a miracle. Well, I mean, no disrespect.
Here's another Jesus statue there.
It's very likely that you've purchased El Milagro chips or tortillas at the grocery.
Oh, that was easy. El Milagro.
There you go.
I thought it was disrespectful to say it that white. El Milagro. So I say El Milagro. Do my Hispanic homies understand me right now?
I don't think your Hispanic homies understand you ever.
I mean, can I get some appreciation? 312-591-8300. Call in, and because I live for Mexican food. I live for it.
I'm sure they appreciate that.
Yeah. But I mean, this guy's whiter than me, right? He's El Milagro.
It's very likely that you've purchased El Milagro chips.
El Milagro. That's not fun.
Well, it's not fun, but it's correct.
I don't know. I mean, El Milagro. That's the chips I want. Okay.
What are you hoping to get out of this? A Hispanic guy to call up and validate you?
Yes, that's all I want. Is some validation. Trying to just, be respectful to the culture and say it the right way.
I'm sure they appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll take some of those El Milagro chips. Sound like some big white guy just asking for it. I don't know. All right.
I have to say real quick before I get to the phones.
Yeah.
Armando, the carpenter, checked in.
Yep.
Just like Jesus.
Yeah.
And said because of the cheese caves, the government had too much cheese, so they started giving it to pizza chains in the 90s, and that is how we got to the creation of the stuffed crust pizza at Pizza Hut.
What?
That's incredible.
Holy cow. Can we fact check that?
I know. I don't want to. I don't want to.
So we wouldn't have stuffed crust if it wasn't for the cheese boom, I guess it is.
That's correct.
Yeah. Yeah, the cheese boom. I don't know. Well, that's good to know.
That is.
And also, Nancy's Pizzeria invented the stuffed pizza in Chicago around that time in the early 70s. Maybe it was related to that as well.
Maybe.
I don't know. Well, check it. 312-591-8300. Because I just want some validation. I don't want to say El Milagro. I'll say El Milagro. That's what I want to say. Miguel says, Brian, Mexican here. You're saying it good enough. Thank you. That's all I'm looking for. Is a little bit of validation. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We have Gil Curtis with your headlines on the way. Coming up at 8:10, remember, we have Glass Animals tickets. And at 9 o'clock today, the Chili Peppers, anywhere you want to see them in the U.S. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. So, yeah, coming up, we'll have Gil Curtis with your headlines. All I was trying to say was with 1.5 billion pounds of government cheese in these cheese caves in Missouri, that I'd take a flamethrower in there, 17 bags of El Milagro chips, and just have a field day. I want everybody to leave me alone for like a week, and then I'll eat all that. And I just found myself saying it out loud. It just sounded funny. El Milagro. El Milagro.
It sounds very odd coming from you.
But I'm right, I think. I'm getting some validation on the text line, except from our guy Julio Lil Caesar, who says, "Shut it, Whitey. Stick to bland food." No.
Julio, don't worry about it. I'm doing that.
No.
It's your game, not mine.
No, I can't. I love I love going to my places, Cafe El Tapatio. I love going to get my refried beans, my enchiladas. I need it. I need it every week, minimum.
You know what this is like? Shannon just texted this into the text line. She's exactly right. Do you remember the Arnold Schwarzenegger State Farm Super Bowl commercial?
Oh,
We're going to say the word neighbor, right? That's what you're doing right now.
All right, well, I'm looking for some validation on the line. Now we have Elizabeth, who's a white woman but from Lake Zurich, but she's a high school Spanish teacher, so welcome in. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Hey, ahoy, how are you guys?
We're doing wonderful. Now, should I say Elizabeth?
Say that again?
Elizabeth?
Yes, there you go.
Okay,
it's actually
good.
pronounced Elizabeth.
I'm sorry, your phone broke up for a second. Am I doing something right or wrong? Elizabeth?
No, you got it right. Elizabeth.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
All right.
Elizabeth.
All right.
Okay, what about El Milagro?
So the last 60 seconds, you're actually doing a lot better. The I heard you pronounce it.
Okay, I'm doing better.
And Brian, I wanted to give you props because a lot of people who don't speak Spanish don't even try for the correct pronunciation. So I thought you were doing great, but I was just saying that a lot of people miss that the I is pronounced like a double E. So it's not El Milagro, it's El Milagro.
El Milagro.
Yeah,
There you
oh my God,
go.
you killed it. You nailed it.
Well,
There you go,
thank
Brian.
you. I was so stupid, Elizabeth, in high school. I took French for some stupid reason. Like, who's going to need French?
Every person who I speak to that took French says that.
Yeah, like I've never been to France. I mean, you're in Chicago. You know, you're going to need Spanish. I'm not going to need French. What am I going to get a baguette on the weekends or something? Oh, parlez-vous baguette or whatever the crap. I can't even remember it. 4 years of French. So stupid. Thank you, Elizabeth. Appreciate your service there at the high school. Jose's checking in from Carpentersville. Jose, what up, man? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, buddy? Hey, you and I met a couple years ago at the Weezer, Fall Out Boy, and Green Day concert.
Hell
I just
yes.
want to say, as a high school teacher, you did a phenomenal job, man. You are definitely an honorary Latino, so.
Oh, hell yes. El Milagro. Yes.
El Milagro, that's exactly how you say it. And by the way, when you posted a picture of myself, you and my wife, you named her Maria. Her name is Michelle. So not all Latino women are the same. Just so you know. Close enough.
I love you, Jose.
I love you too, man. You guys are the best.
Oh, boy. Maria.
Brian, how does it feel to be named an honorary Hispanic by Jose in Carpentersville?
I got to say, it was a great day. I thought getting the eclipse glasses yesterday was my greatest accomplishment over my marriage and my baby. I really did. And getting in the express lanes when the gate opened that one time 4 years ago, right when I was the first person in. But Jose naming me an honorary Latino, I am this. I don't know. It's 6:50. What could get better today so far?
Oh, I'm going home.
What could get better? Nothing. Thank you, Jose, and to your wife Maria.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Here's Gil Curtis with your headlines. Now this guy's white. This guy's so white.
This is not headline news. The total solar eclipse was yesterday. Oh, is that yesterday? Gee, I sure hope someone has a lot of pictures and videos that look like all the rest they can share with me. Yes, the eclipse came and went yesterday. Now we can all get back to observing a corona that comes in pints. So now Eclipse Mania in America is over. Also ending yesterday, everyone pretending to like college basketball. Morgan Wallen threw a chair off the roof at a Nashville bar. Fortunately, it hit Jelly Roll and bounced right back on the roof. And Target has launched a paid membership service. So now you know what to get your aunt for her birthday. This is not headline news.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian Brian and Kenzie on Q101, and the time has come to end Piece of Garbage Madness. The basketball tournament, sadly, our locals Purdue could not pull it off. Terrible game to stay up and watch. First half was great. Second half was like, what am I doing? I watched the Eclipse this afternoon, didn't get a nap in. Here I am watching college basketball. That's just a downward spiral and a black hole of boringness.
Good Lord.
I mean, I enjoyed the game. It was fun.
Yeah, I hope people don't drive off the road this morning to end it all. Thanks for your inspiration, Brian.
Well, the first half was very inspirational of the game. The second half was like, ugh.
Also, kind of how the Cubs game went, too. So I feel you.
Facts. That was a late game that we talked. Wow, a comeback. If you missed that, we'll recap that in sports about how the Cubs blew an 8-0 lead. It felt like the Cubs.
I was so happy and then so sad.
Yeah, like kind of like the 3 years ago Cubs, wasn't it? Didn't have that feeling.
Yeah, I just or like even last year a few times.
Yeah. We thought we were past it, but we're not. But
here we are.
Piece of Garbage Madness ending with the final matchup being Tiffany Henyard versus Inflation, which Inflation was a 3 seed. But I just want to look back a little bit before we give this answer. We added up everything from Facebook, from Instagram stories, from Twitter polls of who the final winner is. But there were some wonderful moments in Piece of Garbage Madness with some upsets that are certainly memorable. For example, the Highland Park Poverty Simulator almost made it to the Final Four, the Fail Four, if you will.
That's a great run.
And this is something we talked about for one day, and because we talked about it, they canceled it.
Yeah, it was last June.
Yeah.
Highland Park, I believe it was the country club there, said, what if we pretend to be poor for a day to empathize with the poors around us?
Yeah.
We were taken aback by this. We talked about it. The next day, the event was canceled.
Yep.
Which wasn't my goal. I got to be honest. I was pretty upset it got canceled because I wanted to attend because I wanted to see who was there, and then I also was dying to watch the news story coverage on it. Like I would have loved to watch a minute and a half on what they decided to put together and footage of people wearing like Chanel with the glasses on and stuff. I was just like, dang, like these are the repercussions to our actions and they suck.
Yeah. Sometimes this show is more powerful than you think, Kenzie.
I don't know about that, but
and also,
I was upset.
Also, maybe there was a chance the Highland Park Poverty Simulator did some good and showed people what poor is like.
Oh, yeah. No, the one thing that people want to do
we'll never know because we got to cancel.
I know. It's terrible.
People love learning about other people's struggles. They love it.
Yeah.
They're so
empathetic. They would have tried to buy it as like a video game. They'd be like, this is fun.
It did sound fun. Like a virtual reality simulator.
It's like Roller Coaster Tycoon. It's like it made it seem fun running an amusement park. I'm sure it's not. There's kids throwing up everywhere and stuff. You know what I mean?
What a good poll. Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I loved Roller Coaster
Tycoon. I haven't thought about that in so long.
Oh. I failed every time. My park never made it. Tough game.
There was also another kind of big upset, I would say, not because they were a 4 seed kind of high, but they made it to the Fail 4, was Netflix banning account sharing. And even though they had the legal right to do that, people thought that was garbage. And
it is garbage.
Even though, of course, it led to everybody saying they were, not me. Like people that say I'm going to move, if this president's photo, they're going to move to Canada, but no one does it. Same thing with Netflix. They started making you pay for the accounts. Most people did it, except for Case, apparently.
And not because I'm better than anybody else. I just
don't have the money.
I don't use Netflix as much as I use, say, Peacock or Max.
Really?
I love Peacock. It's got King of Queens on it. That's all I need.
I was going to say, what's on Peacock that you're steadily watching?
Peacock has The Office. It has King of Queens. It has Supercross live every Saturday night. That's dirt bike racing. That's everything I need.
You watch dirt bike racing?
Every week.
Huh.
There's that many races?
Or are you just watching the same one?
Are they old ones?
Oh, no. It's live every Saturday night on Peacock. Monster Energy Supercross.
Wait, it's live?
Yes.
They race at
what,
night?
at like 2 in the afternoon?
No, it's on at night.
Wait,
how can they see?
They're not at somebody's barn. They're in a stadium somewhere.
Well, NASCAR races are during the day because it's dangerous.
Well, they have NASCAR night races too.
Do they?
Yes.
Not as many, though.
No, at Martinsville this past weekend, the NASCAR race was like an evening race. It happened at dusk.
Huh.
I watch a lot of NASCAR too, but
Brian,
that's on Fox.
can't you just imagine Case being like, no, I only watch throwback races. This is the classics where they messed it up.
Yeah, pre 78 or where it was at.
That's kind of how I feel about Monster Jam. I have a really hard time with current monster trucks because they change the tires and they change the courses. I don't like them as much.
Well,
But for somebody who doesn't drive, you're really picky about what the vehicles look like.
that's a fact right there. Well, the final matchup was Tiffany Henyard, our favorite Dalton Mayer. She was number 1 overall seed against inflation, and the winner, and much closer than thought it was going to be. In fact, it was a last-second three-pointer. Some say she was fouled on the three-pointer, too, but it only took that three-pointer to win the game. Was Tiffany Henyard is the winner of Piece of Garbage Madness. And
congratulations!
well, just like
Yay, Tiffany!
just like in March Madness, we have one shining moment, a little montage of her greatest hits here of the tournament.
Hey guys, this is Super Mayor Tiffany A. Henyard. Y'all forget I am the leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet, the mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing.
Still don't have a comment.
Sir, you're a trustee.
Well, once again, I don't have a comment.
Only judge when you got both sides of the story, not one-sided narratives, which is negative narratives in the media. All the trustees walked out because they couldn't have their way, and that's not how government works.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas?
Oh, Lord. Tiffany Henyard, still in office. Still going strong. There, the Dalton South Suburban Mayor, of course, now winning Piece of Garbage Madness 2024, voted on by you as you made everybody advance in the worst setting. But there's actually new stories today about Tiffany Henyard. As Kenzie, we were texting about this last night, where
yeah, baby,
Lori Lightfoot. Remember her? She was in Piece of Garbage Madness before. She's been hired.
Shout out to the alum.
Yeah, right. That's right. She was hired to investigate, quote, the worst mayor in America, Tiffany Henyard. She's hired to investigate Tiffany Henyard.
Which I don't get. How do you all of a sudden have an investigation background?
Well, I mean, I guess she's a lawyer. But also, why her?
Well, it takes a bad mayor to know a bad mayor.
Oh, wow. That didn't even come across my mind.
I know. Maybe they're like, well, if Lori finds something wrong, then she's obviously, then Tiffany Henyard has to be just out of her mind.
Maybe Lori knows where to look. She's like, well, I know I hit everything over here.
This is unbelievable. And go ahead, Kenzie.
I know. Again, I hope there's not like a car chase involved. I feel like Lori Lightfoot moves super slow. Like, I hope there's nothing like, I hope she's not like rushing to the office before Tiffany Henyard can, get rid of evidence, because that's not going to happen.
Here's the thing. Lori Lightfoot will be paid $400 an hour to do this. As a lawyer, it's probably an accurate fee, I guess, but it just sounds bad when you're investigating someone who makes close to $300,000 a year.
You know what's amazing is you already know Tiffany Henyard's like, I'll pay you $5, and she's going to end up on the payroll.
Oh, that's how this is going to end. So the Illinois Village of Dalton has voted in favor of this resolution to hire ex-mayor Lori Lightfoot to investigate their own leader. Why can't anybody? There's got to be other people that could be more qualified, or is that all we got? That's kind of like running for president? That's just all we got? This is it?
Shouldn't I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, shouldn't the FBI, because she's completely it's almost like tax fraud and stuff?
Yeah, there's a lot of misappropriation of funds. And to your point, the FBI was allegedly investigating this whole thing.
Because of the charity.
Yeah, did they just go away? Did they just say, we don't want to touch this?
No, they were like, we'll do it for $5. Well, Lori said she'd do it for $4.
I mean, she was an attorney at a super powerful Chicago law firm, but still, then she became mayor. And you always remembered for the last thing you do. The last thing she did was mayor of Chicago. Didn't go so well. Horrible.
This is a chance for her to turn her image around, though. Imagine if Lori Lightfoot comes out the hero of this. She takes down Tiffany Henyard. This is a brilliant move by Lori Lightfoot.
Well, yeah. I mean, she's not going to say no to $400 an hour.
No, but she can turn her whole public image around. I think she's just trying to work,
Case. I don't think it's a job.
Well, there you go. There's your piece of garbage champion, Tiffany Henyard. And being investigated by Lori Lightfoot. It's like an Onion headline. It'll be in Banana Land. Yeah.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.